welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
It's a 13 for y'all. 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 It's a 13 for y'all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. You hear who it is. It's Coach K coming to you this week with a full, well, not a full squad. We're missing one, but I got my three guys that are here. BJ, what's happening, sir?
We good, man. Hey, living life day by day. New adventures every day. It seems to keep on coming.
New adventures every day. I hear that. Phase on.
It sucks getting old. I'll tell you, the body does not recover as well as it did in the college days. Leg day is no joke, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, most of that's in your mind and it's in what you're telling your body, but
Lies you
that's
tell.
that's a whole nother story.
Walking downstairs is not in my mind. That is a feeling you remember walking down the stairs. That is
You
not
get
in my
past that, man. That's just getting the rust off, man. You'll be past that soon.
Yeah, for sure. Next time I do it, but right now,
Right now,
It's real. It is real.
Yep. And you hear them. No other than Fresh is in the building.
Yes. We back. You see, we back in the office. You know, it's been interesting having this opportunity. You see, I've been taking full advantage. I got my new glasses. I just got my teeth clean. You see that right there, and I'm waiting to see if it's funny Art talking about these old man your body ain't the same. I woke up well for insurance purposes a couple weeks ago, and my knee was a little more inflamed than I expected for reasons unknown still to me. So, I'm hoping I ain't got to do surgery, but I'm okay with surgery. We can get out of the office a couple weeks.
hey, then you tell me that when you hit 40, you can breathe wrong and something could pop and you can be out of commission for a week.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, that's real. That's real. I get that. I don't know if y'all catch that air bubble that will like come up in under your chest. Like it feels like it gets under my rib cage.
Oh, wow, not
Man.
yet. No.
Oh,
Nah,
bro.
I don't
All it takes is one wrong stretch. And next thing I know, I'm like, I'm literally trying to figure out a way to do a headstand because I got to get that air bubble to come from under the rib cage. It's real life. It's real life.
That's a lot. My fat must block the air differently than yours blocks.
I definitely weigh more than you, so I think that's impossible.
I don't think so. How much do you weigh? That's exactly what I weigh. 210.
Oh man.
I'm 224. No, 218.
For real?
Right? When they get one per episode, we gotta blink that one out.
I gotta edit it. We'll be fine.
Man, you don't ever go back and edit those out. You just let them rip.
I'm making a note.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Well, so listen. So, all right. Seems like everybody's recommitted to some type of fitness and wellness. So that's awesome. BJ, what's going on with riding the bike, man?
I need to get back on it. It just ain't happening. Well, first the kids started to ride my bike because they got two. We had to get them new ones, and my bike was out of commission, of course, because they ended up breaking mine. So I just now got it repaired. So we about to get back on it though. But actually, I'm thinking about joining the Peloton family to get me more in the house when it's raining and stuff. Like, cause I'm not. Well, if it's raining, I ain't going out. I ain't gonna lie. So that ain't gonna happen. And then once it get too hot, I'm gonna have to go late at night. So
yeah, join it, man. Join it. I need more people that I actually know and actually care about. Like Art's got me in this group right now, man. I don't know these cats, man. They don't mean nothing to me, man. They be riding all day. And I'm just like, good for you, buddy.
All about motivation.
Way to go, champ.
I'm trying to get them in here so that Kate's motivated to just jump on and put something in there. Now every once in a while, I'm like, "Hey, Kay, where you at? Like, I haven't heard from you yet." And he's like, "No,
Yeah, I'm
no."
at work.
The man said I was cutting wood, cuz. Like, I
Uh,
mean,
I'm
out
at
here
work.
doing real life things.
Right. None of them came. None of them rode over here and helped me cut this wood.
Man said I'm riding life.
But BJ,
You are
that
exactly right.
The Peloton is a different ride than the mountain bike
Yeah, definitely.
outside. So yeah.
But art is totally different though. Like he there's a Peloton in his house and he doesn't do any of the instructor led classes. Like he goes
I
out there and does
do.
the scenic rides.
I like that. Yeah. I'd like
He
to
goes out
my
there. Oh,
own
let me
pace.
ride across the Golden State Bridge.
Right. I want to see Vegas, but I do my own. I make sure I go up and down. I tighten it up, the gear, whatever it's called, so that I get the resistance. But I just think no, I want to hit. My goal was to hit all of the scenic routes and not go back to the classes because I feel like I just want to enjoy the ride. So people do it and they go for 30-minute hits and all those other things. I'm like, nah, let me get a 15-minute scenic ride. Let me see the world on the bike while I listen to Megan Thee Stallion or whoever I listen to on the side. And then, I'll do my meditation for 5 minutes, my stretch, and I'm good.
So we're gonna put this out there. Peloton, you listening? We're gonna hashtag you and ask you. Like, you got 4 guys right here who are willing to step up to the challenge and promote and do this thing and build groups and build a population of young men who are going to get into this thing and get some groups going. So let's reach out and let's get some sponsorship going.
Hey, y'all, B-side Peloton bike companies too. If y'all want to ship them new bikes, they'll throw them Pelotons away real quick.
Oh, the
And you
echelon.
get us some bikes, we'll start a whole new movement. So any of that, go
I
on,
think it's
talk
This
to us.
is gonna be the first time that somebody that can actually do something with a sponsorship is gonna hear it. And then they're gonna hear you come on the background and be like, hey, those B-side Pelotons, echelon, whatever, we'll throw those Pelotons away.
Hey, if that's the case, then that's what's in the cards, my friend.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to move to something new, man. Because there's a lot of new things going on in the squad. And
Yes, sir.
before we get to that, man, I know some of y'all watch. I didn't watch it. I was half trying to watch the All-Star game. I didn't really watch that either. But while that was going on, the excommunicado royal family members.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was funny.
The darker side of the royal family.
Yeah. It's dark. It's
Who's
crazy.
that? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
That's just,
They've been estranged. It's pretty funny, man, because I was thinking about it earlier today, and I was just like, wow, they're like the real life, like they were coming to Britain.
Yeah.
Big facts. Big facts.
Yeah.
They were coming to Britain, and now they're in the States. They had to move.
That's what happens when you go against the system that's already set for you. But I mean that happened before too, Diana. Like going back to the whole process, like she wasn't welcome to the whole in there either, and
Well, yeah, outsiders and
this is
especially
crazy.
Americans, first off, were just
American
like, what are
and
you
black.
doing? Yeah, you're outside of like the thought of the bloodline. But then that's what they said. There were
Wait. Where was Diana from?
She's from there. She's from Wales.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Okay,
she was okay, but she wasn't. She still wasn't of
she
the.
wasn't royalty.
class.
She wasn't she
Yeah.
was
she
she
wasn't
was
of royal
common.
blood.
She was common folk. That was the thing
Gotcha.
about it. But I was gonna say the big striking issues from the interview were the fact that the royal family was concerned about the darkness of the baby, but then really what was the initial spark was that they were going to title the baby in a different title than the
Right.
other grandchildren
No,
of
Really?
they weren't going to give him a title. No security.
no title at all. Excuse me.
Nothing. You were a regular
Excuse me.
person.
And so that was really like the start, but then that started the conversations into them being concerned about, well, how dark will he be? How what kind of color is he? Like, what's that gonna look like, and things of that nature. And that was really what created the snowball of them wanting to like, oh, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to be here for this.
It's listening to that whole thing. Oprah's going in there, and I was watching it with EJ. So I'm like, kind of my ears on it. I'm playing the game as normal, with my ears on it, and I'm just listening. I'm like, yo, like there's some dark stuff going on over there. But then I think about it, I'm like, yo,
It's
like it's this is the palace. Like these guys, there's so much old
it's
things
what we've
and
seen
traditions that,
over the
yeah,
Trump years,
yep,
where it's just it's not surprising,
nope,
but
I
it's
wasn't nope
just
at
the
all.
exposure and
Yeah,
the finally really hearing for real, like, yes, this is what goes on. But I'm always just like with the Trump era. It's it was good for that band-aid to be ripped
oh
off, and
my
the
god,
exposure that it created in the that line in the sand of, okay, we really have to, all the people who think that racism is some fantasy that we discuss, but then people who are really like, okay, we have to go grassroots and really start to make an impact, and there can't be no half step in this. Oh, well, just because I'm not really racist, but I do allow them to say racist things
right.
around me, and actually, I'm like, no, you can't do none of that no more.
And the tabloids, the fact that the palace is kind of in on it with the tabloids, like they had that unwritten kind of, oh, it's okay, we won't, as long as you guys don't bash us, you can do what you want,
Mm-hmm.
cool. But then when they were bashing her and calling her monkeys, and the baby's gonna be this whole thing, like they invite those same people to the palace for a Christmas party. So you have to walk in there knowing that these people are treating you like
Mm-hmm.
garbage, and that your family, your new family, like has no care.
Is talking,
It's just
yep,
crazy,
exactly.
bro.
It's just straight disrespecting you.
Let me ask y'all, man. Are there any more brothers, or are those the only two?
Those are only two brothers from Diana.
Those are only two
Yeah.
brothers, and how old are like their kids? They have any older kids? Because I already
No,
know how to take out
no,
this whole thing. I already know how to.
But
no.
no,
Well,
I mean,
it
well,
doesn't matter. The older brother is the
uh,
true heir to the throne.
yeah,
His children are still young. Like,
yeah.
I don't think his oldest son is more than 5 or 6 type stuff.
And
We
then
can still set.
isn't the Elizabeth's son is next in line technically. He's gonna
Yeah,
be,
but that
but then yeah,
yeah, Charles
yeah,
is next in line, but Charles' son with Diana is Harry's
It's,
older brother.
it's all good, man. Listen, I know how to take this whole thing down.
Run the play, K.
We just gonna drop a couple Kardashians over there
right.
and just ruin the whole family, ruin the whole thing.
It is going down over there. Like this thing came out, and it is catastrophic.
But it's
Is it going down
a
over there?
different, no,
Yes.
it's a different narrative over
Yeah.
there in Britain. No, no,
No, I
you
was
haven't.
Piers Morgan. I was listening to his thing, and they're on the like, finally, it's out there. You guys are protecting the Queen. She's trash. Like it's
Who?
really
Pierce
like
Oh,
Piers
Morgan.
Morgan.
interesting,
Yeah, it's on his show. Mhm.
interesting.
So it's this definitely this Sunday night thing has turned into. I was listening to BBC because I listen to the news in the morning
Mm.
on our favorite Miss app. So I had listened to her tell me the news in every channel, international, BBC, like AP. It was all on all things. Like this is
I saw it all on the news, but I saw that the papers in over there in England, like the headlines were not the same type of headlines that we were having here, as far as it being about the racism and things of that nature. That the headlines over there were on different topics and just more of them going against the royal family type.
we got
Yeah,
a long way to go for that. It's not gonna
I have
happen
a
yet.
feeling. I have a feeling that it's gonna be flipped and all types of
Of course,
stuff, and
of course.
it is what it is. Though I mean, hey, look, we know what it is. Everybody knows what it is. All these islands that the British owned, and look, they had a gang of slaves and made a bunch of money too. So
Exactly.
look, go get yourself right. I think they actually issued an apology though. They didn't give out reparations, but I think they did issue an apology at some point in history. We can fact check it, but
But most of
uh,
the apologies for my even just the conversation I had, the apologies were issued, but it's, oh yeah, but to get your freedom, to really get your freedom, you gotta pay us this much money. That's why a lot of these countries are free in verbiage, but not monetarily. They're still paying whatever percentage
correct.
to the kingdom because they have so much money owed to them. So it's not really real in full context.
Truth, truth. Well, hopefully, yeah, I don't even know. I think when the queen and listen, I don't know what type of healthcare plan she has, but
Yo,
geez,
Yo, like,
Queen is no
but
joke.
the
That is
me
very
and
true.
her husband is right now in the hospital, but he's like not like 100 and something, 99. Like he's mad old too. Like whatever she
But
did over
the
time.
queen was a G back in her day. I don't know if you ever saw like her resume and stuff that she used to do. The queen was no joke back in the day.
Mm,
She used to go and get busy and do a lot of stuff. So I won't doubt she in that joint chewing tobacco, spitting across the damn.
right. Love how they never said a person. It kept saying the
Royal
establishment.
spew.
The establishment. The establishment. It was always the establishment. Never a person, never this. It's the establishment. And it was
Yep.
like, oh, they trying to make sure that they are understand that it's a group, not
Oh
just
yeah, no,
royals.
they did a very good job of making sure not to just be like, yeah, no, the queen racist as hell.
Right.
And yeah, my brother, he was with the shits too. Excuse me.
But but then and we'll end on this, but Harry was definitely like, I'm doing what my dad should have done for my mother and what they all were
Mm,
afraid to do. And like,
yep,
that was how it like almost came to an end. At the end of it, I was like, wow, there you go. Like he's like,
yep.
this is where it stops. And then he said, the reason why I was able to protect my family and get security because my mom left me something. And if she had left me anything, I'd be stuck. But she knew what was going to happen in the future, so she left me a nest egg.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Interesting.
awesome.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, moving on to other things as we talked about transitions and things happening. Couple of fellas, you guys have had some transitions, and I think it's time we talk about that a little bit. Fresh, you kind of alluded to it over the last few episodes, but now BJ has also transitioned from his income of how many years?
Just a month shy of 10 years.
A month shy of 10 years. So uh, let's get into that a little bit. How do you guys know when it's time to move, when it's time to make that jump?
First off, I want to give kudos to BJ for taking that leap before 10 years and not being worried about those petty things and knowing opportunity is real. So that's first and foremost.
I
But
appreciate that. Sure.
but
It wasn't,
nah,
it wasn't an easy decision looking at everything, but still, it needed to be done.
hey, it's never an easy decision, especially change in that arena. But I think that we as a people have been programmed to falsely believe that the commitment to somebody else's company is really where our true opportunities lie. While I do believe, of course, the vast majority of the population is worker bees, I think that too many of us do not understand our opportunities to go and create our own wealth and our own things and really fulfill our own dreams as opposed to uh getting into almost a hat in hand feeling of like, well, they gave me the opportunity to have this position, so I really shouldn't be looking for no other opportunity or really shouldn't be trying to think outside of the company.
Okay, I think the easiest way to put it from my state of thinking through that process would be as we talk about people, we talk about mortar, right? When
Yep.
you find yourself in that adaptive state too much and not being able to be in your natural state for the majority of the time in your workplace, it's time to make a decision. You either gonna realize this is the job because of the income, because of the benefits or whatever's keeping you there. It is what it is. I'm just gonna be this in this adaptive state and just suck it up and deal with it and be miserable. But I'm gonna get I'm gonna milk it for the benefits of whatever I'm here for. Or I need to throw in the towel and be like, I need to go find some place where I can be me. And for me, it was the latter. Um, like being there almost 10 years working for the state of Florida, there are many quote unquote benefits that came along with it when you look at overall pieces, but it wasn't worth it. And it wasn't worth my sanity. It wasn't worth the hassle of having to bite my tongue and not being able to speak up half the time because of red tape and protocols that are in place, or somebody else coming to the table and basically discrediting the almost 10 years of work that you've put in. They make you feel like you're a peon off the street and not do anything when they haven't done half of the stuff that I've done. Again, at the end of the day, you can trace it back to many different things. But when I felt it was time to go was months ago. It just took make sure it was the right move, and not just the move because I'm unhappy. I need to get out of here. It was the right move because this is going to benefit me financially. It's going to benefit me with experience and get my name out there, but also benefit me just to bring what I bring to the table on a bigger scale. So it wasn't. It can't be just a knee jerk reaction because this thing is going on. I'm just gonna quit and move on to something else. It needs to be the right move. Now, if it got to the point where it was like disrespectful in my face and to other people, then it would have been a different story. But I think we talk to people about that all the time, especially in that looking at those profiles. And for me, it was just like, okay, it's time to stop talking about it and be about it.
Yeah, and that's big facts, right? So, you talk about the assessments and everything, and I just went through that whole exercise with my team, including my boss, right, and my peer group and my boss, I should say, and a couple the HR folks. And it was really funny to listen to people talk about the pressure to come into work and operate as somebody other than who you are. And when I asked the question of, well, what makes you do that? Everybody just kept referring to it as that thing. There's that thing that's there. And I'm like, well, what is that thing? And nobody could answer what that thing was. And for me, I was just like, well, I need you to understand that thing is the programming. That thing is the the manifestation of society
Yep.
and the
Yep.
general public and all the things that came before you that people say, oh, you should, once you find a good job, you should just, there's going to be good days and
You
bad days. And you just got
stay,
to
yep,
roll.
but
Get
you
down
Got
and
to
stay the course. You
stay the
never go
course.
nowhere.
And, every company that you go work for is going to be the same. And
nah, bro.
at this point in time, that's not the case.
That's not the case.
That's not the
I
case at all.
challenge, I challenge everybody who listens to us. If you have been at your job for more than 2 or 3 years, I challenge you to get your resume together and to put your resume out there. Putting your resume out there does not mean that you are leaving anywhere, but I think that it gives you an opportunity to be extremely surprised at your worth. That you do not understand what other companies are willing to pay you to do more than likely less than you're even doing right now, just because of the experience and what you can do and what you had. Uh, that's my challenge to all of our listeners. If you have been at your job for more than 2, 3 years, again, like I said, getting your resume together and putting it out there does not mean that you have to leave your job, but it does give you the opportunity to see and understand what your market value is. We've talked many times about, that stock investment in yourself. It's the same thing. You got to see how much them coins are worth sometimes. Put that information out there and get a better understanding of your worth, and so that you can A, feel more comfortable where you're at, or B, realize that you're missing out on opportunity.
I'm gonna throw that out there too because, and again, it's not a chance just to promote the profile assessment, but I think a lot of times as we go through those, we've been employed for 3, 4, 7, 10 years in a place, right? And we forget who we are. We forget what we bring to the table. We forget what our values are and what motivates us and drives us because we got into the mundane day to day actions and just ups and downs of just making it through and just making it to another day instead of thriving, right? So I'm a challenge, like reach out to Carol, reach out to me, and talk. Let's talk about taking one of their profile assessments to kind of see where that goes, what's really back there. Let's have some good conversation. Carol, I think in the last 2 years now since we started doing assessments on a bigger scale, like there's been a lot of people and a lot of realizations that have helped people walk away with a better understanding of who they are, what their value is, and that changes the narrative of when you talk to your boss, when you talk to another person for an interview. What you bring to the table is defined, and you have a clear understanding of what it is you bring. So, like, hit us up and let's talk about it.
I would say it's impossible for anybody who takes those assessments and then gets, you know, evaluated, you know what I mean, by you guys, like there is zero chance that you will not discover something more important about yourself, that B, you will be able to express a lot of the thoughts that you've had in how you prefer to communicate, not only with, you know, your peers as far as in work, but also your boss and your, you know, your spouse, your children. Like there's so much valuable information that comes from those assessments that just helps you progress and level up, period, that it's impossible that you would not be able to go ahead and you know, feel empowered through going through the process.
You know, that's one of the things that happens, right? And this is, look, this is, if you take an assessment, this is, you know, the people around you that may not necessarily be your coworkers or may not work for the same company, but a lot of times your company doesn't want you to realize the true value of yourself, because when you started out, you were on one pay scale. And as long as they can keep you in that pay scale, there's amount of years that they have. Okay, this is what the budget is for this particular person. We
Mhm.
know this. For them to admit to your value and then compensate you as such, you've now broken that budget that wasn't accounted for. Because every year, yeah, some people get a little pay raise or whatever. That's all budgeted and that's all projected. Once you go against that, now they're having to reconfigure this. Okay, well, if we give this person a raise, then maybe this person shouldn't get as much of a raise, or better yet, we may have to fire this person that's been around forever and they just make this amount of money because of how long they've been here. So there's all types of stuff like that that go on. But to your point,
Hold on, I was gonna say, even though 9 times out of 10, it's just that the people up top are gonna get less of a bonus or less of their raise, because really that's where it all trickles down from. But go ahead, my bad.
no, you know, you're speaking truths, because they are challenged with the task of, hey, we need you to operate in this budget right here,
Mhm.
right? Nobody really tells you what that dollar amount is. They don't admit it to you, but hey, there is a budget. Don't get it twisted. You know, when you look at some of the stock reports and whatnot, they'll say, oh, you have a lot of overhead cost, right? And what's people's biggest overhead cost most of the time? Salaries. You know, it's really simple. At the end of the day, it's a business,
Yeah.
right? So let's go the other route. So there's Art and I who are on the other side now, right? Where, you know, we're both sitting there and we're wondering, okay, is it time to look at something else? So Art, how many years in now?
16.
So Art's on 16, I'm on 19. Um, and it's just crazy, right? So you sit there and you think about, and sometimes it may not even be that, hey, there's something wrong with the company per se, right? You may have outgrown the company.
Sure.
So at that point, what makes you, what is the convincing factor that makes you say, hey, after 16 years or after 19 years, maybe I need to rethink this?
Well, I know for me, it was the trigger point for me was, I think I said it a while ago in a couple other podcasts, was seeing someone else in my position get bumped up, and kind of like, well, wait, I don't understand how he got moved up and I didn't. Like, what was the basis behind that? And then you look at, you know, people who've, you know, work with you, around you, and they've continued to move in the process, and you're kind of not stagnant, but you've been super helpful, and you think that, oh well, I'm supporting these guys, or I feel I'm obligated to support and help people that I work with, so forth. So you lose the mindset of, okay, let me focus on me and jump or do what I do for me, and more on, okay, well, it's fine, like the administration changes, everyone's changed, you got to prove yourself again, so you're in a mindset of reproving yourself that you are the best person that you are, and everyone knows that. But then there's nothing kind of to show for it other than, oh yeah, he's great, or this is what's going on. There's also comfortability. You get comfortable doing what you do, and you do it the best you can. Like, you become, like, I've been called the operations guy. I can do it with my eyes closed, where I can go into any situation and fix it, resolve it, repair it, or teach it. And now it's time to challenge myself to get out of this operations bubble and going to become the IT guy or the food supply guy or the marketing guy, because all those techniques and skills work you to be towards the C level. You can get there eventually slowly by one area, but that only happens when somebody dies or quits. When you can go up to the next level. But if you want to be able to hop and skip, you got to have that skill set of other things to have you attractive to other companies. So when Fresh said, "Put your resume out there," I don't think mine's been updated. Well, it's been updated, but not put out there. Like the last position I have on LinkedIn is probably from when I was initially, in my role. So to add things I've done over time and kind of keep it going is where I need to keep an eye on. And I've been seeing a lot of pings come my way, but I think it still says I live in Maryland. I think so. Like that has to be updated because when you're in
I
a different area,
guarantee, brother,
it's going to
take the
change.
time and really, I think, well, I know for me in my process of getting my new current position, um I was a surprised at how much in a sense respect my experience provided. I was excelled through a lot of the processes just based on, conversations of experience that I've had being an entrepreneur. uh that that's the biggest thing. I know personally I sell myself short often, and I know I am not the only one who does that, and it takes
Oh
that
no.
outside perspective and viewpoint of being able to show and tell you, like, yo, stop thinking that
Mhm.
there's not a world of opportunity, that like literally you can make one and a half, if not two times as much doing what you're doing for somebody else who would respect and be able to appreciate the impact that you're placing into their business at that time, as opposed to you getting lost in the, and especially us as talented black males, we often get put into that position of, when you're good, it's like, no, we want to keep him here because he's like the sauce of this whole, this department, and so we make sure that that's the color and the, what you call it, yeah, he does everything great, but we don't really want to excel him just because it's like, no, we like him here, like this is what
Yeah.
it is. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And sometimes it's even that the upper heads are just not with, like, yo, you've reached the plateau of accessibility for minorities, where it's like, yo, yeah,
Hmm.
we all love you and everything like that, but nah, you can't.
But
We don't do C-level minorities here. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
those
Right.
things where, and you will never know. They will always treat you well. You will have, you know what I mean, great, money and all of this other stuff, and be able to keep trotting along, but you will never capitalize on your true talents and your real opportunities, because you are always just going to be that brother pocketbook that is, like, yo, we got him here and he's good and he helps, and he's an amazing piece of part, but we're never going to give him the opportunity to be what he truly can be. We're always going to keep them here, and it's all minorities where it just gets into that space of where it's like, yo, oh yeah, he's amazing, he's dope, well, yeah, let's make him a partner. Whoa, what are
Hmm.
you talking about here? Like, what do you mean? What are you, crazy? And
just beyond
it's
comfortable is where they keep you.
yeah,
Just beyond comfortable.
exactly, where you are selling yourself short when you are at least not giving yourself the opportunity to see your value, but you're truly selling yourself short when you're not pushing yourself to get your value, and being like, yes, my resume's out there and I hope y'all bastards see it, because yo, I got people who are calling me and telling me that they want to give me one and a half times what I'm getting, and I'm going to do less. What are you guys willing to say to that? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, we don't take the opportunity and do, just like, it's funny, Draymond Green was talking about the uh the difference between, if a player decides that he wants to be traded, the media makes him out to be some type of devil. But if the team says, hey, we need to trade this guy, they can do it any way they want to. There are cats who will suit up, who will be out on the floor for a game, and they'll be like, hey, Cousins, go take your clothes off. You traded. You know what I mean? Like, they can be that disrespectful with it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in corporate America, where it's, why is it looked and viewed at as such a bad thing for you to constantly be in pursuit of a better opportunity and a better chance for you personally and yours to excel. Like, it's not saying that you're not giving 100% to every opportunity that you're afforded, but
Mhm.
yeah, you need to be more focused on maximizing your potential opportunities as opposed to thinking that you need to be stuck in helping someone else just because they afforded you an opportunity.
Right.
So
So
that's
before you go, Kay, if anyone who's enjoying this so far, please take a second to just like and subscribe to whatever you're listening to, be it audio or video, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, uh, Apple, Samsung, or Galaxy, or whatever it's called, an Android Play or
Google Play.
Google. But it's changed. It's a new name now. They changed
Is
the
it?
name for it. So whatever
Okay.
you're listening to this on now, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts. Um, Back to you, Kay.
No, I was gonna say, it's funny because you pretty much said that you've been in the same functional business area for 16 years, right?
Yeah,
Operation.
I've been in the same path. I've definitely done. I mean, I've done training. I've done like, but that's all under operations. Like
Mhm.
all those paths have been operations in the end. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I was thinking about myself. I'm like, oh man, well, shoot, man, I've jumped, three different business areas. I'm on my third CEO
mm-hmm.
since I've been employed. Um, I can't remember what number state this is, but you know, I think it just gets to a point where you're right. You see people that get promoted, you see people that get put into positions, and you're like,
How?
really?
How?
Why?
Like, um,
Failing forward.
and not only that, but then you watch and you see who are the Swiss Army knives.
Mm-hmm.
The
Who
funny thing is that those Swiss Army knives are the ones that leave because the ones that come in just kind of sliver even through just not doing the right thing. They kind of slide their way right into
Yo,
those
it's
areas.
all about
Yeah,
playing
the
the
ones that are
game.
that multiple layers of things and swissing, they're jumping to another company and
but
doing
but
something
that's
different.
but that's funny that you say that the Swiss Army knives are the ones that leave because you are a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
They have
yeah,
a market.
exactly.
They have a market that's struggling, and they're trying to convince you, "Hey, Art, can we get you to
But
do this?"
the
Mm-hmm.
Right?
funny thing is, the majority of the time, the Swiss Army knives who leaves are the white folks.
Yeah,
They're the one, the Swiss Army knives who
yeah,
are white folks. They leave and go to another company and get another opportunity.
yeah,
Oh my God, my friend just hit me up and told me about XYZ.
yep.
Such and such hit me up out of nowhere and they told me about XYZ, and I'm going for it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
We'll be the ones that's
Whereas
guilty
we
about in some place though.
we get stuck in the momentum of like, yo, but like, yo, if I just get 2 more years in here, then I get this, and like I should be able to.
I
And then
just
what
told
happens?
y'all that. I
They
literally just
figure
said
they
12 months.
figure they figure like some way to just put that carrot just enough in
Mm-hmm.
front of you that you're just like, man, it's worth. It ain't what I want, but it's still good enough. Like I can still like I got what. And if I do this, then that you put all of these other things where you wind up looking back 20, 30, 40 years later. Damn, if I would have put just a bit of what I put in them into doing my own thing for 3, 4, 5 years, oh my God, I would have had I would have had me's working for me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that we have been programmed into falsely believing is this thought of like, yo, go get some experience from somewhere and understand. And if you have that passion and that understanding, that ability, yo, go do it for yourself or go and get with your friends and other people. Like, put your experience that you've gained, go into your friend's company who you see struggling and needs operational help. I'm just using art as an example, but I'm saying like do those things where it just gives you the opportunity, us as a people, everything to go ahead and keep on pushing and progressing together, as opposed to feeling like, oh, I need to give this company, this corporation so much of myself, when at the end of the day it's statistically proven that they don't care about it. Michael Jackson told you. All I got to say is that they don't really care about us. That at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
like they are not they are appreciative of it in a sense, you know what I mean? But at the same time, they don't care. They're
Give me
like,
a
yo,
little
it's
bit.
not, yeah, I'm not about to, they're not going to allow you to get your true flowers while you're here.
BJ, you've said two things now that kind of got muffled out. So I wanted to give you opportunity. What were you saying?
I don't even remember no more. I was just adding the conversation that I was feeling the spirit, man. I don't even know exactly what I was jumping in with at that point in time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Right, right. Well, listen, I think if we could put a bow on this and cap it for people, it's basically about understanding and knowing your value, and almost to the point of every single year you need to set up a point to where you recalibrate and reassess what your value is,
Mhm.
and you got to have a external system to do that because the internal system may not necessarily get you there. Go ahead, BJ.
And shout out to Caitlin Josille, who was a guest on our back in over the summer, where she brought up the fact that the largest population of people who don't negotiate their salary are Black males. That really made me think and how I approached this whole situation a little bit different. No, totally different than I would have any other time. I can't even say a little bit. That one conversation, which I wasn't, was I even on or did I just listen to the episode? I don't even.
I'm not sure if you were
I
on
think
there.
you
Yeah, I'm
listened to
not
that
sure
one.
if you were
Yeah.
on
I
that
don't
on
even.
there.
I think I just heard. I wasn't even participating. I just listening to the podcast and picking it up. I'm like, you know what? I've never negotiated. Well, first of all, being in education, our salaries had always been in steps and things like that. You had to put in so many years or certain degrees, and your salary is public, so there wasn't no negotiation going on. But thinking about it, whenever there's a time, would I have done it? Probably not, because again, like we always said, and even alluded to now, like they'll give you something, and you think, "Oh my God, they're giving me this much money. I ought to be grateful that they're giving me this." Nobody taught me to negotiate salary. I didn't
Yep.
know. I didn't really know that was a. I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know how to do it or why you do it
Yep.
or when you do it or what do you ask for. What does that really mean? When she said that, that whole thing replayed in my mind throughout the whole process about their offer, counter offering, and then coming down to a thing. Now, did I do it the best I could? I don't know. I tried my best what I could do, and I ended up fairly good. Could I have gotten more? I don't know. But the fact that I was just thinking about that process was something a new mindset for me that I can honestly say was never in my toolbox before.
Right.
So I'm appreciative of those conversations that we've had on this podcast that came to play and came back to help me when it was time to make a final decision or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to second that emotion, and yes, we need to we're gonna have to send Caitlin something because real facts, it got me an extra 5K, and I didn't even, it wasn't even in an aggressive fashion. Like I was fine with what was going on and just kind of threw out the layup of just like, hey, well, it really wasn't what I was expecting. What else can we do to get me to more, in the middle of where I was supposed to be? Just kind of phrased it in that nature. And they were just like, hey, we can't get you all the way where you want it, but hey, here's some more money. 9 times out of 10, as long as you don't phrase it like in the sense of like, I have to have it, they're willing to throw something at you. And especially like there is in a sense nothing wrong with, as long as you are not demanding of it, that more than likely they will provide you some extra shillings over there, that they will throw something extra on the court. And if not, you're not in a place of loss, and it's better to have that conversation on the table early, because then at least they know, like, yo, you're expecting to excel and you want to progress and you want to make sure that yes, finances are attached with that. Like, okay, well then here's the deal. If I come in and I work hard, what is the, like, yo, if I can hit your target, your whatever, are the plan, if I do crush those things, then that means that I can get more towards where I want to be. And just opening up those conversations, it sets you apart, because when you're having those conversations, they look at you in a different light. You're automatically kind of seen as, oh, this is upper management material right here. Look at this guy. But again, speaking back to our floor or our ceiling, excuse me, of understanding, like it'll get you in the door and can get you some more opportunity. But always remember, like, be focused on self, seize what you can from what's going on, but don't lose sight of you and yours is what cares about you. Don't and listening to BJ talk about the negotiations made me realize how much we look at getting a job like it's getting money from a friend, and are in that sense of acting like we're, our friend's giving us this money, so I really don't want to ask him for more money. He's already doing such a, and it's like, no, this job is not your friend. You're going there to work, and your expectation is you're going to do an amazing job.
Yeah.
That it's those things, like, get off of thinking that it is such a they're doing you such a favor, and it's so hat in hand, and understand, like, no, you are the one who's bringing the value to the table, and feel that way, and move in that direction.
Man.
Yeah, right. Just makes you want to stay up late and update your resume hard.
Can I tell you that I've been strolling on the right hand side, looking.
I'm telling
This
y'all,
was
like,
like,
I,
let me
I
just see
beg
what else is
people,
out
and
there right
it's
now.
that though, like, even in my process of getting this new job, which it's funny, the how crazily entangled and circular my life is. So the company that I work for, Gannett, actually purchased not only the first company that introduced me into digital marketing, Reach Local, back in 2010 or 2008, excuse me, but also they were the ones who purchased the newspaper that my agency was the number one agency of record for, which
Wow.
ultimately led to the demise of the agency, and now I'm working for them. So it's interesting how entangled and crazy things are, but again, it's about being able to constantly look and seize the opportunity, and understand that sometimes you can't look a gift horse in the mouth, but always make sure you are looking past the sunrise. You know what I mean? Understand that I'm not looking at this, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I don't want to lose sight of my passion for getting my own.
I gotta say the icing on the cake for me though. We could start planning the Juneteenth now because it's a company holiday, baby.
Let me tell you something. I will say they thoroughly impressed me. We had for Black History Month, we had company wide meeting online, and they talked to Breonna Taylor's sister. They
Wow.
were like, it was a lot of stuff going on that I was like, wow, we coming up. We okay. This is the time. And that's another thing. Like,
Now is
this
the
is the
time.
time. Yes, like, there is no time in history where they want us. They need us. They want to be able to put us in the forefront and everything. Seize this opportunity, get this money, go get your own. Go build our stuff. Go
Very
do
true.
our thing. That it is now. I'm telling you, I was extremely empowered by the lack of I don't want to say the lack, but like, it didn't take me a long time in an aggressive interview process to get this job, because once they heard and knew my experience and what I've done, they were just like, it let me know how much above the job I was already, without getting into it, but
Right.
also that it's just like, you know what, I'm seize the opportunity, and don't lose that passion.
Correct.
Wow. Yep. 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 Mm.
All right, Art. I'm gonna send you my resume that you can update mine at the same time. Great.
All right.
Which is funny because I was just talking to your wife about that this weekend.
Yes, you were. And she will make sure she is, which is crazy because I have that here. As resources I have, but I'm like, oh no, blah blah blah. And she motivates me and always asks me, so what are you doing? What's happening? Who are you doing with? And say, okay, but I had that here. So
I
I need
beg
to do
y'all.
that.
I beg y'all. And like, yo, y'all too. I beg, man. I beg y'all. Like, y'all just don't know, man. We are Wakandan warriors. Like, yo, like y'all do not understand. Y'all could get rid of so much headache real quick. Real quick.
Mm. All right. Well, we gonna roll this thing out. Yeah, we're gonna come to Art's corner because he's just there on the corner pontificating right now.
Yeah. So right now I am completely um I guess motivated. And on one hand, motivated to want to do the next thing and listening and knowing that time is time is limited. And someone told me, and I'll keep her name from here because we have a big connection. But she said, "Do you want to see yourself now? Now between age of 40 and 45 is when your moves have to happen. If you're in the role after 45, you kind of get stuck where you are, and it's harder to shift because you now have all the thoughts, possibilities of what's going to happen next, and my family, and so forth, so forth. So she said you're now in that cusp, maybe 47. She said, but really at 45, you kind of want to cut off that. This is where I want to deal. I'm going to jump. This you're going to change to a different path. Now is the time to do that. And listening to her speak and now listening to my brother speak about the same thing, um, it's kind of realization that listen, the signs are there. They say the universe talks to you when you want to hear it, and you can not listen to it, or you can let it hit you in the face and understand that it's now is the time. So as you think about the commitments from your companies and the development paths you're being put on and everyone's saying you're going to do, doesn't mean that you can't do your own thing and say, well, I appreciate the path you're going to go on, but I can jump 6 months or 9 months by going here versus waiting for you to hope something comes up. And I think that's kind of where I am in that mindset. I'm just kind of like, I have this, I do this. This is simple, it's easy. And it's challenging, but I want to be challenged more. And I think again, I have so much to offer that I think is not being taken advantage of. And my cohorts say the same thing. My friends, my past employees, my past bosses, all like, so what's happening? What are you doing? And this is like a system conversation. So you still there? Cool. All right. Well, what's happening next? What are you doing there? Who you talked to yet? So I say, listen to the universe. Long story short, listen to it, hear it, understand that it never hurts to dangle your fishing rod out there, see what you catch. If you don't catch anything, you have a home, but you still dangle out there and see.
Nice. Facts. Do you have any more Vation in the fresher tank?
Man, you know the kid always keep this thing dripping. It ain't no stopping my motion at any time. Shout out to my guy Pat over at Blank Canvas Cooking. We making incredible moves over there, but he will tell you as well. Um, man, I spit this thing hot, fresh every day. Whenever y'all want it, y'all just got to get at me at Barry Be Fresh, wherever it's at. We there. But to go ahead and keep this thing moving, I posted this earlier this week. Normalize finding love in your 40s. Normalize discovering and chasing new dreams in your 30s. Normalize finding yourself in your purpose in your 50s. Life doesn't end at 25. Let's stop acting like it does. Uh, I cannot express how much I know and understand that you listening do not know and understand how much your experience is worth out there. So if I there's nothing else that you gather from the 13th floor on this glorious day, make sure that it is put that fishing rod out there like Art said. Go ahead and see what's out there. It's not going to ruin your home, but it will definitely give you the opportunity to see some better sunshine.
Facts. Ladies and gentlemen, we've already dropped where you can listen to this podcast. You can also get really cool gear from both our website and mycooltshirts.com. Uh, man, listen, it is I don't want to say mind blowing, but when you walk and you go somewhere and you see somebody, wait a minute, that person has on a 13th floor t-shirt, or that person has on a 13th floor hat. That's pretty. I don't even have that one. Yeah, that's when it's it's amazing, and that's when you realize, oh man, we're almost 200 episodes in, and people are listening, and we don't even know who these people are, and that's awesome. It's one of those things where, again, you don't realize the value in the offering that you have. And what I would tell you all is before you go out there, try to get an understanding, right? You don't go buy a house without getting a pre-approval, or to put you in the best place to buy a house, you go out and get a pre-approval. Same thing for a car. To put you in the best position, you go out there and get a pre-approval. So get a pre-approval on what your value is before you go and put your fishing rod out there. Now, don't get me wrong. You can go ahead and put the fishing rod out there, but don't just jump at the first thing that nibbles at your bait, because you want to make sure that you're being consumed by the right thing, and that that is exactly it. They're a consumer, and not you being the consumer. Switch the role. Everybody hates on LeBron. They don't want to call him the best, and they don't want to call him the best because he took his career into his own hands. It's the same thing for all of us. Go out there, figure out your worth, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And sometimes that's going to be, you're going to have to create that space and that place where you will be celebrated. So if nothing else, go out there, find out your value, go get it, go find some place where you can grow and where you can feed into others. That's our show this week on the 13th floor, ladies and gentlemen, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views, they are amazing.
It's the 13th